I don't believe it's unreasonable to question God's existence. Even very many religious people have questioned God's existence and his wisdom and his knowledge. They've questioned it. Even his supposed so-called prophets, whether self-appointed or appointed by some kind of priestly institution, they all came into trials and tribulations in their personal lives and in their national lives or tribal lives, and they begin to wonder and doubt. They were in times of despair or discouragement, so they wanted to know if God was real and if God was still with them. That's normal. That's human. I'm sure God makes an allowance for that. At least God is being considered and thought about, because God wants us to be thinking about him in some way or another, because he wants us to reason it out. It says in the book of Isaiah to reason, use reason in trying to solve life circumstances and issues. And reason involves God, because the name God is Logos or Logos. I don't believe that's in some form of ancient Greek, but I'm sure there's a Hebrew word for it. But yeah, very important to put things on the scales and balance things out, because God created order. He created the balances. All the earths and planets are scales. The earth, the sun, the moon, all the planets. It's a big, huge scale, a universal scale. And he weighs all the balances according to the book of Job. He hangs the planets on nothing. His glory circles the earth. So everything is weighed in the balance even according to some of the ancient Persian and Egyptian establishment, the hierarchy, the astrologers. They knew. Even the ancient astrologers of different peoples and religions, they knew everything was hanged in a balance. And it's orderly. It's there by design. It's not random. It's not an accident. It was a deliberate plan by a higher being, higher, or beings. If you take the idea that there's many gods instead of one, a plurality of gods, not just a singularity God like the Judaism or Islam or Christianity. But also there were times in the ancient other cultures, like the Egyptians, there was a period when they were monotheistic, believe it or not. But most people were monotheistic in the very beginning, before they started to attribute other man-made or other objects as being God. They call it idolatry in the Bible, when you attribute things that are created as the creator rather than the creator of those things. The builder, the manufacturer. He's distinct from his creation, and yet he's a part of it. According to the three monotheistic faiths, they believe in one all-powerful being or essence, a spirit, that can take possession of bodies or become a body. He can do that. He can do those things because he's a creator. He can not only create, bring things into existence, give them origin, give them beginnings, or he can manipulate matter. He can reorganize it, refashion it. He's God. He can do what he wants. But he doesn't do anything without it being just and right and true, because he's perfect. He has perfect knowledge, perfect wisdom. His ways are perfect, according to the Proverbs and Psalms. So he can make perfect calculations, perfect reasonings. His decisions are perfect. They're very much unlike human beings, his created subjects. They don't always make wise decisions. We don't always make, as human beings, we don't always make wise decisions because we don't have foresight, we don't have foreknowledge. We can't see the future, so we just take what appears to be right and try to do the best with our decisions. Sometimes they end up being good, sometimes they end up being bad ones. But that's where God's mercy comes in. We have to lean on God's mercy. That's why we're supposed to pray about everything and consult God, because our decisions can be more favorable if we consider God in the matter, in the situation.